This is Phil with AndroidCentral.com, and this is the new HTC One Mini 2. As the HTC One line continues, so does its more diminutive cousin. The HTC One Mini 2 is the second member of 2014's HTC One clan. It adopts the styling of the HTC One M8 while scaling things down a bit, both in overall physical size and with the internal specifications. The HTC One Mini 2 sports a 4.5-inch display at 720p resolution. It's running Android 4.4.2 and has the new Sense 6 user interface, just like its big brother. It's all powered by a less powerful Snapdragon 400 processor. None of this is state-of-the-art, but again, it's not supposed to be, right? This is targeting a price point below that of the M8. Physically speaking, we're looking at a phone that's shorter and more narrow than the M8. It is mini after all, and the inclusion of more plastic around the front, top, and bottom bezels make the Mini 2 a lot easier to hold, even in the slicker gunmetal gray option. And by the way, you'll be able to pick up the Mini 2 in silver and gold if that's your thing. So the buttons are in mostly their usual places. You've got on-screen buttons at the bottom of the display. The volume rocker is on the right-hand side, and note that the one you see here is silver. That's from an early run, so the gunmetal gray one will actually be gunmetal gray if you buy that. The power button is still on top, but it's been moved to the left-hand side of the phone, and that's really only a big deal if you've gotten used to it being on the right-hand side on the M8. Otherwise, you should be fine. The Mini 2 still has front-facing boom sound speakers. They're a little bit smaller and a little bit quieter than the M8, but they're still a lot better than any other phone that has a normal rear speaker. The Mini 2 also lacks the rear second camera of the M8. And it's also lacking HTC's special image processor, so it won't be able to take any of those special multi-focus pictures or create video highlights like you can on the M8, or its predecessor, the M7. You can still edit images, but you won't have the defocus or 3D effects. But the Mini 2 does increase the total resolution to 13 megapixels, so it's got that going for it, which is nice. As far as the software goes, we're looking at Android 4.4.2 and Sense 6. Blink Feed is still here, as are HTC's custom apps. There's no HTC TV, though, because there's no IR port in the phone in the first place. But for us, here's where it really gets interesting. The HTC One Mini 2 looks like a smaller M8, but it's in a body that's about the size of last year's HTC One M7. And the M7 is still a very capable smartphone. It's got a Snapdragon 600 processor and a higher resolution 1080p display, plus it has the first generation of Zoe's and video highlights. So we'll have to see where the pricing ends up. If it's close, we might have a tough decision to make if we want to stick in the HTC One line.